is expected to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. The president's son was convicted on all 3 felony charges in June related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018 when prosecutors argued Hunter lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. According to NBC News, the president made the decision this week.
Now, you see, let's just clarify that. Did Hunter Biden lie under oath? If Hunter Biden lied under oath, give me a thumbs up. If he did not, then give me a thumbs down.
That President Biden is expected to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. The president's son was convicted on all 3 felony charges in June related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018 when prosecutors argued Hunter lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. According to NBC News, the president made the decision this weekend. Molly, fast and furious, what do you make of this new news?
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
Anyone, Michelle, Miriam, presidential power in action on President Biden pardoning his son.
I mean, look, I don't think that Democrats can uphold all of these norms single-handedly. Hunter Biden was prosecuted for a crime that kind of a normal person who had committed the same crime would almost certainly not be prosecuted for. And Joe.
What? How many? What? How many people do you all know that wouldn't be prosecuted for this stuff that Hunter Biden did? Seriously? Really? Is that what we're doing here? Huh.
Hold all of these norms single-handedly. Hunter Biden was prosecuted for a crime that kind of a normal person who had committed the same crime would almost certainly not be prosecuted for. And Joe Biden bent over backwards not to intervene in order to show, sort of how much of a respecter of norms he was, unlike Donald Trump. But yeah. We see kind of what that got him. And I certainly understand why, why he would not want to forfeit the future and life of his son to uphold a set of norms to go up in smoke.
What do you think of this, Miriam? The president.
That's rich. That's very rich. You know what I'm saying? Wow.
Had said that he would not seek a pardon for his son, and here we are using presidential power. Is this now kind of a blank check to the incoming administration to use whatever powers at its disposal for whatever things it wishes to achieve?
Well, as you know, the pardon power is absolute. It is one of those powers that is exclusively given to the president. And I do think, people will be asking Joe Biden what changed, because he did say pretty clearly he was not planning to pardon his son. I will note we are ending a Thanksgiving Day weekend, and I'm sure the family was all together, and I'm sure that caused him to think long and hard. But I will be interested to hear what he has to say about what changed. Michelle is right that the crimes that Hunter Biden was prosecuted for are things that would not ordinarily result in the types of prosecution we saw.
Really? I would say that they usually wouldn't result in the type of pardons that you saw. Who does she know that has gotten prosecuted for this kind of stuff and hasn't done any jail time? Are these people serious? If you guys agree with what these people are saying here, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with what these people are saying, throw some clown faces in the chat. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media.
What changed? Michelle is right that the crimes that Hunter Biden was prosecuted for are things that would not ordinarily result in the types of prosecution we saw. And I don't think that issuing a pardon opens the floodgates to abuses of other types of power, because a pardon is part of that exclusive authority of the president. We know that the incoming president has already talked about various types of pardons. I'm hoping he will not engage in all of those that he has suggested, particularly with respect to the January 6th attackers, those who attacked the U.S. Capitol. But that all, of course, remains to be seen.
Wow, that's ridiculous. That's kind of wild. Kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? Kind of wild. But anyway, shout out to RY. What's good with it, RY? So let's take a look at what CNN has to say, all right? And then we're going to look at an article from NBC. This is just getting good. It's just getting better and better and better and better. While Biden is at it, as far as handing out these pardons, he may as well hand out the pardons to some of them liberal city mayors. You know what I'm saying? Because liberal city mayors about to be sitting in jail. they about to get cases put on them and sitting in jail right next to Hunter Biden, where Hunter Biden should be.
CNN has learned President Biden will pardon his son Hunter Biden. CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny, I believe, is with us. Jeff, can you hear me?
And Jessica, yes.
Okay, what are you learning?
Look, we are just getting a statement from President Joe Biden. He's saying that today he he signed a pardon for my son Hunter, and he goes through the reasoning why. Of course, Hunter is facing a sentencing later this month, but this is really a monumental moment for President Biden. He said several months ago in June, when he was still seeking a re-election, that he would not pardon Hunter Biden, but now we are learning he is. And let's just read through this statement quickly together. He said, "Today I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, and I kept my word, even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted." So
now, let me ask you guys this question. How was Hunter Biden unfairly selected and prosecuted? I'm pretty sure that he committed the crimes that he, was charged with, and I'm sure that he got a good lawyer, and I'm sure that he definitely was allowed due process. If you guys would agree with all of these things, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree with all of these things, give me a thumbs down. So then, how then is Hunter Biden unfairly, quote unquote, targeted and prosecuted? That doesn't make any sense.
This is a fairly long statement, about 4 or 5 paragraphs from President Biden, but really going through why he is making this decision. He also goes on to say this. He said, "No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out because he is my son, and that is wrong." He goes on to say there's been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober, even in the face of...
Who did it then? Is Joe Biden trying to imply who did it? Because the Biden administration was in charge of the Justice Department. So who are we talking about that did all of this? Who did this? Who did this? Now, shout out to everybody in the room. We got to take a quick detour, right? Because we got to ask this question. How many people were holding XRP Ripple prior to today? If you guys were holding XRP Ripple prior to today, give me a thumbs up. If you guys were not, give me a thumbs down.
Unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution. So, of course, Jessica, let's take a step back. You obviously covered the Biden campaign along with me, and this is something that Hunter Biden has been dealing with. This was a tax case, a gun case. He went through his trial in Delaware. There was another case in Los Angeles. But this is really the culmination of President Biden really making the decision tonight to sign a pardon for his son Hunter, not just a commutation of a possible sentence, but a pardon, which certainly will be part of President Biden's legacy going forward.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And as I'm reading this along with you, Jeff, I think one part at the very end is particularly striking, which is where he says, I have followed a simple principle: just tell the American people the truth, they'll be fair-minded. And here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. It is interesting.
Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I've heard through the grapevine, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, Hunter Biden has constructed a quote-unquote book, quote-unquote, memoirs of such, quote-unquote, so to speak. And what could be a possibility is that it could be a possibility that there might be some sensitive information in this quote-unquote memoir that might, quote-unquote, expose Joe Biden in an unfavorable way. And I hear that that's one of the reasons why Sleepy Joe might have decided to do what he did. Did anybody else hear anything like that? If you guys heard that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear that, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says XRP, Solana, Shiba, and Doge, etc. are doing good. Facts. The entire crypto market is doing great. You know what I'm saying? If you guys are enjoying them crypto gains, eating good under Trump, you know what I'm saying? Throw them flames in the chat.
To also hear him saying essentially that the justice system was politicized, which is something we've heard from Republicans and Donald Trump as well.
We certainly have, and important to note that President Biden spent really the weekend with his son Hunter and the rest of the family in Nantucket, where they always do for Thanksgiving. And this is a striking, really, ending to this Thanksgiving holiday. And with this statement from the White House we're seeing tonight, it is a official document calling for a full and unconditional pardon for all crimes and punishments facing Robert Hunter Biden. So, but Jessica, the sentence that you read is so poignant. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. We will see, of course, in the coming weeks and months and years, if Americans do understand that. But
yeah, a father would come to this decision if they're a contradictionist. I'll tell you what else a father would do. A father would try to make an effort to not raise a son that moves like this. A father would try to raise a better quality child. You know what I'm saying?
But there is no doubt that this is part of the legacy of President Biden's one term in office. Certainly something he did not want. He hoped to run for re-election. He obviously stepped away from that months ago. But clearly there was pressure inside the family. We were told really in recent weeks that Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, was very supportive of the president doing something like this. The president was not sure. But we clearly have seen now he has come to this decision to pardon his son Hunter.
Yeah, and Jeff, of course, we don't have to remind people how close-knit this family is, and that Hunter is his only surviving son, that they are, of course, very, very close, and we've heard many stories about the last several years, how they talk daily and many times a day. Stick with us, Jeff. I want to go to our senior justice correspondent, Evan Perez, who is back with us. Evan, what are you hearing from sources as we're getting this news tonight that President Biden has granted this pardon to his son, Hunter Biden?
Well, certainly, Jessica, this is something that a lot of us were anticipating. We were waiting for it, even despite the fact that the president has said repeatedly that he was not planning to give his son a pardon, would not commute his sentences. Keep in mind that he was due to be sentenced in the Los Angeles case dealing with his tax problems. That was coming in the next couple of weeks, and so all of this is coming to a head. And so we've been watching and seeing what the president of the United States would do. I think. As you and Jeff were just talking about, I think we'll see what the American public arrives at. But I think it's really remarkable to sort of step back and just read some of what President Biden is saying in here. Keep in mind, he took office in 2021, promising to sort of restore the institutions and try to restore faith in those institutions, including.
Now, if you ask me, this is the final contradiction, right? I mean, like, I think that we can finally say, yeah, this was a complete hypocritical administration. This was a completely 110% completely hypocritical administration.
Including the system of justice, obviously, the Justice Department. Those are among the big priorities with him. That's why he chose Merrick Garland, a former judge, to be Attorney General. And then if you look now where we are, what the President of the United States is saying is that essentially there are political problems with the prosecutions that are being brought by his own Justice Department. And I think that's going to be a very, very tough pill for people to swallow on this issue, because obviously it is a thing that we keep hearing from Donald Trump. And it's the thing that animates the Trump team over the next 4 years. You're already hearing from them that they want to destroy some of those institutions that they believe are stacked against them. And so to see President Biden sort of go to the same territory is kind of a remarkable turn to watch.
And Evan, just legally help people understand. And
I don't think anything is remarkable about it, and I don't think there's anything that's a turn about it. This is what Joe Biden has been doing. Joe Biden has literally done this his entire career. I don't understand why people are surprised by this. The fake outrage and the grandstanding is hilarious.
Remind them this full pardon. What does that effectively mean? Again, that covers, as I understand it, all of the charges against him.
Right. As I understand and as I read this, it goes to all of the crimes and that he has now been convicted of. He was convicted of gun-related charges in Delaware over the summer. I was there for that trial, and I also was in Los Angeles for the tax trial. And those things were both just before he was going to trial. Obviously, he ended up having a plea, but this would take care of all of those. Republicans have said, by the way, Jessica, that they want to take another look at Hunter Biden when Donald Trump takes office in January. So we'll see whether they can come up with something new that they can pursue Joe and Hunter Biden over. But for now, what this means is those charges that the special counsel David Weiss has pursued against Hunter Biden, which are gun charges in Delaware, as well as his tax charges in Los Angeles, both of those get wiped away clean.
All right, Evan Perez, stay with us. I want to go now to Isaac Dover, who is somebody who has covered Joe Biden, who has interviewed him. And Isaac, I first want to play a clip that we have of what Biden said about potentially pardoning his son earlier this year, and then we'll come back to you. So let's play that clip.
Let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
There it is. And this is just okay. It's just okay. He's completely contradicted himself. He's completely went back on his word. Unapologetically.
Earlier this year, and then we'll come back to you. So let's play that clip.
Let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
You have.
And so, obviously, I think that's when he was running for re-election, and the political environment was very different for him. You, as someone who has covered him for years, walk us through kind of his thought process.
Now, what I want you guys to pay very close attention to is I want everybody to pay attention to how they're just making all of these excuses for this guy. You guys see them? They're making every single excuse. They're covering every angle. They're trying to twist and turn everything any possible way that they can. This is insane. This is ridiculous.
Process, how he thinks about these things. We know per our reporting that this was happening over a lot of it over the weekend, but tell us more about kind of how you think he arrived at this decision.
Yeah, this is something that has been a great pain to Joe Biden for many years, and was
shout out to my man AW1. AW1 says, "Yo, Rob, I can't believe he actually lied." Yeah, he lied. He lied, bro. How many of y'all are with AW1? Y'all can't believe he lied.
weighing on him as he decided whether to run for re-election, and then was deciding whether to stay in the race earlier in the year. He believes that Hunter Biden was being prosecuted for these crimes because he put the spotlight on the Biden family by running for president. He put the spotlight on his son. He believes that there are things that Hunter has dealt with, and in some ways, some of the issues that he's had over the years, that Biden wasn't there in the same way that he might have been as a father, or that some of the pressures that came on him from being in the limelight because of who his father was. And so Joe Biden has struggled with this, but look, there's really no disputing the change in position here from the clip you played to the decision that's been made tonight.
This is insane. All right, it is what it is. I don't think that there's anybody that's surprised by any of this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said President Biden has a stutter. Yeah, he got a stutter. You know what I'm saying? I heard wrong. I didn't hear everything right. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, man. President Biden pardons his son Hunter Biden. The decision, which was first reported by NBC News, is a reversal for the president, who repeatedly said he would not use his authority to pardon his son or commute his sentence. And it's just okay. It's just okay.
We're coming on the air with breaking news, first reported by NBC News. President Biden has pardoned his son Hunter ahead of the end of his presidential term. That's according to a senior White House official with direct knowledge of the decision. Remember, Hunter Biden was convicted back in June on 3 separate felony charges related to his purchase of a gun in 2018, a time during which prosecutors say he was battling a drug addiction and lied about it on paperwork to get that gun. It was the first time a sitting president's child was convicted of a crime. Hunter Biden also pleaded guilty to federal tax charges in September. In that case, he was charged with 3 felony tax offenses and 6 misdemeanors, including tax evasion and filing a false return. NBC News has learned that this pardon is expected to cover both Hunter Biden's conviction and guilty plea. This marks a reversal for President Biden. Both he and White House officials have said repeatedly for a period of months that he would not pardon his son before leaving office. But tonight, the president has done just that. We will have much more coverage coming up on all of our NBC News platforms, including tomorrow morning on Today. For all of us here at NBC News, I'm Hallie Jackson. Thanks for watching.
All right, so there's that. All right, so yeah, we're going to definitely cover that. And we're going to definitely cover this in greater detail on the other channels, because you guys already know this ain't about to be the end of this. Joe Biden pardoned his son Hunter Saturday night, a reversal for the president, who repeatedly said, and I don't know why I just did that, he repeatedly said he would not use his executive authority to pardon his son or commute his sentence. So Sleepy Joe going back on his word. I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why, as a father and a president, would come to this decision, Biden said in his statement. Yeah, I understand. And I understand that it's also not the reasons that you just gave. So yeah, I have a full understanding of why all of this went on. right? And I think most of you all do too. We all have a pretty full understanding of why this went on. Hunter Biden was scheduled to be sentenced on December 12th for his conviction on federal gun charges. He was also set to be sentenced on December 16th in a separate criminal case in which he pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion charges in September. The president issued a full unconditional pardon for any offenses. Look at this. This is what it is right here. The president issued a full unconditional pardon for any offenses Hunter Biden has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period from January 1st of 2014 through December 1st of 2024, according to the White House statement. Okay. A senior White House official told NBC News, which was the first to report on the pardon decision, that the president decided over the weekend to grant his son a pardon and began to inform his senior aides on Sunday. Now, what made him change his mind on the weekends to do this? Like I said, I heard some rumors. You know what I'm saying? I heard some rumors about some information coming out. Shout out to Sybil. What's good with the Sybil? I heard some information about some rumors coming out about a book that might have gotten written where it might be some information dropped about Hunter Biden that might be kind of incriminating to Joe. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know if that's true or not. It's just what I heard. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to definitely have to follow up on it. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button yet, do me a favor, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share your stream to your social media.
Here with breaking news tonight, President Biden has made a decision to pardon his son Hunter ahead of the transfer of power to President-elect Donald Trump, according to a senior White House official with direct knowledge of the decision. He's expected to announce it later on tonight. And this comes months after Hunter Biden was convicted on gun charges back in June. That marked the first time a sitting president's child was convicted of a crime. Hunter Biden also pleaded guilty to federal tax charges in September. White House officials and President Biden himself have said repeatedly that he would not, in fact, pardon Hunter before leaving office. But tonight we learned of the president's decision. Again, a reversal for him and what the White House has said President Biden would do. I want to bring in our White House correspondent, Mike Memoli, who's joining us now on the phone from Washington. Tell us more, Mike. Why did this happen and why the reversal?
Yeah, so for the most part, that video, I believe, is the same video that we watched earlier. All right. That video is the same video that we watched earlier. And I think it just goes on to do a little bit more transcription of what we were talking about there. So that's kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of wild. And I believe what I'm going to end up doing is I think that I will clip that section and put it on BLR so that you guys are able to watch that again. All right. Because I think that will still be relevant tomorrow. All right.